A code enforcement no-show. News 3's latest Project Las Vegas piece takes us to the squatter house that neighbors want to see boarded up. And now we're learning that some residents in the historic Paradise Palms community leaving the area because of the safety concerns emanating from the abandoned house. Thanks so much for joining us live at 6. I'm Latoya Silman.
And I'm Marie Mortera in for Jim Snyder tonight. A woman who lives next to the property says Clark County Code Enforcement was supposed to come to fortify the home multiple times over the past few weeks.
And code enforcement has not arrived, but News 3 reporter Will Silverstein has. And Will, what is that neighbor telling you?
Well, Latoya, the neighbors told me that people still are coming to this property. Several squatters have been coming here in the last couple of weeks, another one over the weekend. That person coming over the weekend, that neighbor telling us falling when trying to scale the fence to get into the backyard. And she tells us that she won't feel safe in her backyard and in her home until this house is secured and sold.
Well, you know what? When you say you're going to be somewhere, you should be there.
Paradise Palms resident Rose Hokenson has had enough of Clark County Code Enforcement failing time and again to show up and board the abandoned house behind her backyard.
First they told me they were coming in on the 8th, then they told me they would be here on the 12th, and then they told me they'd be here last week, and still nobody.
In that time, several squatters broke into the property. 2 weeks ago, around 6 squatters were seen at the home. This past weekend, boards were broken into in the backyard. As News 3 looked over the fence, we could see through the front yard, indicating boarding at the house's entrance had been broken by squatters as well. Rose just waiting at the ready for code enforcement to appear.
I've got the keys, I've got them ready to give to him to get in there, and he doesn't show up. I keep telling him that the shed is open, the garage is open in the back, and somebody told me, oh, they're just hanging in the garage. Well, I don't want them hanging in the garage. I want them out. I want something done with this house. I'm getting tired of it.
And now others in the community are making their feelings known too, not by seeking answers, but by seeking a new home.
Everybody talks, but nobody does anything. And my neighbors are moving out.
A for sale sign placed in the front yard of a home not too far from the squatter den. The reason? Rose says the neighbors have told her it has to do solely with safety and quality of life. So who is missing in this scenario? Clark County Commissioner Tick Segerblum.
If you report things to us, we'll come out and do as fast as we can.
That quote, part of a conversation with Segerblum last week, Rose only calling code enforcement, not the commissioner. News 3 wanted to see what would happen if she did call Segerblum, so she called. Now, code enforcement is set to come this week to board the property. But News 3 and Rose wonder why Clark County Code Enforcement is quick to action when the county commissioner calls and not when the people who live every day next to the nuisance call instead. Why does it have to take somebody who has that title?
It shouldn't.
And then to kind of just give you an idea of what happened was she called the commissioner. 20 minutes later, after he initially said he was going to make some calls, he made some calls back. Then all of a sudden, we have a time set up for later this week, and she's still wondering why she hasn't heard back from code enforcement, at least until this past morning. We hadn't checked in with her recently as it went to later in this day, and why it takes the county commissioner, as you heard there, to make the difference.
She thinks that her call should make the difference. Now, we heard about her struggles, as we mentioned, with code enforcement. Did you reach out as well?
Yeah, we've had some issues as well. We've reached out 4 times to either code enforcement or just the county in general over the past couple weeks, since we weren't able to go to the one that we had staked out for a couple weeks ago, since we were denied again last week. Still nothing back from code enforcement or the county on our end as to why this hasn't happened. But we are set to come out this coming Thursday when this is scheduled to take place, and we're hoping 3rd time's the charm on this front.
Yeah, and I bet she is too. Thank you so much, Will, as always, for the very latest on this issue. And digging deeper into crime in Paradise Palms area, News 3 has new numbers for Metro's command area in that area, and they show 253 reports of trespassing. That is a 17% increase from last year. Reports of impersonation crimes also up by 7% from this time last year, with 13 reports of the crime in the area, as well as an 8.8% increase in intimidation from last year. A total of 170 reports of crime as well.